Hello there. Thank you so much for watching my video. I've got a really exciting presentation, and I haven't done one of these in a while, but I always love it when I do, and I think this is going to be a really informative one. So I'm going to review some important lessons over the past couple months, and then I'm going to review some new lessons I made that I learned, because in trading, when you're unprofitable, about to become profitable, like myself, because I've been at this 2.5 years as an e-mini day trader, or even if you are profitable, you learn from your failures. Failures is how you learn and grow. So, of course, I'm going to update some things, and I just wanted to capture that with this presentation. But first, I wanted to start with the biggest lessons I've learned in the past several months that are absolutely critical to being a successful trader. So, first slide. So, trading with a directional bias. I determined that from the hourly chart. I think that's the best time frame to determine that from as a day trader. And I like to just pay attention to where we are, above or below the EMAs. Pay attention to higher highs and higher lows too. This is super important because if there's a higher high than a higher low, say it's been downtrending and there's a higher high than a higher low, we don't want to. It's not downtrending anymore, so we need to start looking for longs, and it's just important to pay attention to that. So yeah, always make sure your trade is supported by the hourly directional bias. One more thing before I go to the next slide. I have a horrible virus. I'm getting over it. I'm on the mend, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. My voice is weird. I feel I feel a lot better because I'm medicated now, but I may need to cut the video at times because it's honestly it's hard to talk for however long I'm going to talk. My voice is already starting to cause me problems. Okay, next slide. I also only have one setup. This is another change I made in the past couple months where I cut out the reversal, I cut out the breakout. I'm just focusing on one setup. So, very simply put, we have the directional bias, we wait for a pullback against that, and then we wait for a confirmation signal, which is a hammer or a strong bar close in the direction of the directional bias. And we want to have a good EV, so if there's already been like 2 or 3 15-minute bars in a direction, or there's just been a really big push in a direction, we want to wait for another pullback and another confirmation bar before getting in. But that's the big thing. The big two things: supported by directional bias and have a confirmation candle. Never fade the directional bias. Never, ever, ever guess which way the market is going. You should know if the directional bias is up or down before taking a trade. Or if we're in a choppy zone where there was recently a higher high and a higher low and we don't know what to do and we just shouldn't trade. But never let your desire to be right be greater than your desire to make money. It comes from your gambling instinct. You just always have to participate with the directional bias. So don't ever fade. And if you don't know, don't trade. You're not meant to trade every day, okay? Look at the quote at the start of this video, the Jesse Livermore quote. You're not supposed to trade every day. So if you don't know, it doesn't cost a thing to sit out. Just don't trade. Next slide. Quick recap. Now, over the past few months, I've gained a clear edge. Every trade I take is supported by the directional bias, and I only enter off an entry signal from the 5-minute or the 15-minute chart. As long as I don't violate that, as long as I stay disciplined to that, I have no doubt that I will become a profitable trader. And I know I'm so close, and I know I'm optimistic, and time will tell. I upload all my trades to YouTube. So, the goal of this channel when I made it was to capture my evolution from unprofitable to profitable. I think that's finally going to happen soon, and I want to be able to look back at this presentation and all my other videos I made before this a couple years from now and say this is when it happened. All right, next slide. So this is my first recent update. Um, so far lately, over the past couple months, I've only had been trading with $300 to $400 in my account. This is too little, so I'm going to upgrade it to about 1,500 probably. This way, as the way it's been the past couple months with only a few hundred in my account, is I've had to constantly put more money in as I've not been having the success I want. This way, with $1,500, I can lose a few trades and not have to put more money in or worry about getting auto liquidated. Um, I just think it'll be better, and hopefully this will be the last time I have to put more money in this account. So each trade is going to have a $150 risk. That the amount of contracts I trade will be determined by how large the stop loss is. Stop losses always pretty much go just beyond the previous candle. Um, but yeah, that is how I'm going to do my risk from now on, and I'm going to trade a slightly larger account. Still a very small account, but slightly larger. All right, next slide. I also wanted to talk about my stop loss. I meant to revisit this earlier, but so basically with the stop loss, that's always going to go beyond the recent bar. But today, as of recording this, September 10th, I think day 95, day trading, if you want to watch the video, I had a point where I probably should have put my stop loss just a little bit further beyond the previous bar. So if you want to learn more about the origin of this decision, you can watch my day 95 day trading. Another thing about the stop loss is it shouldn't really exceed 60 points if you're trading the MNQ. For MES, maybe this would be like 15 points. Really though, it just shouldn't go if the market moves a lot, like I talked about this earlier in this video, but if the market moves a lot in the way of your directional bias after a pullback, and it just moves so much that there's not a good expected value anymore, we just don't take the trade. Just wait for another pullback because there probably will be one. But a big theme is just not trading if you're unsure, if the market conditions aren't right. Like that Jesse Livermore quote at the start of the video, we just have to make sure we're we don't want to trade all the time, right? We only want to trade the best setups with a directional bias and with a confirmation candle at a good EV. We have to be very selective. Being selective, being a specialist is how we're going to survive in this in the long run and make lots of money. So if it goes too far, just don't trade. All right, now let's go to the next slide. Setting and forgetting. We need to capitalize on big winners. We need to be able to pay for our losers with our big winners. So I'm going to try and hold for at least 3 15-minute bars when I enter a trade. And if it goes very strongly in my favor, I'll take that as a sign that maybe it's a big breakout day. Maybe it's a day we want to just hold all day. We'll kind of have an idea, be able to anticipate if it is one of these days before we start trading, because we know it comes out of consolidation. But sometimes they surprise us. They happen when we don't expect them. And if it's a day where they're not expected, maybe 3 15-minute bars is a decent move. It goes to the next level, and then we want to get out. But yeah, just being able to capitalize on winners is crucial. And to be able to capitalize on winners, we need to accept the discomfort that is holding a trade and being in the market with money on the line and let it go. If you see something that really says you need to get out, but try and stay in and try to not interfere for at least 45 minutes. Unless there's a really, really big sell-off in like 15 to 30 minutes and it drops like 100 plus points, then you can take profit early. Or if it drops a little bit, this is if you're shorting, if it drops a little bit, but then turns around and you get a confirmation candle in the other way, that's another time where you can either move your take profit up to the low of that, or move your stop loss down to like a break even or for a small win. But we have to try and get big winners in set and forget. All right, next slide. Final thoughts. I kind of left this one open ended. I'm not really sure what I have to say here. I don't think there is anything else. I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I've got my directional bias. I talked about that. I talked about the confirmation candle after a pullback. I talked about um, the new risk rule, how I'm going to be risking my money and how many contracts I'll use. I talked about the need to make good money on winners. I guess the final thought is like I'm optimistic as hell about my future as a trader. I really think I'm close. Um, I've been getting a lot of supportive words from trader friends, and I really think I'm almost there. Like I'm really hopeful, and I'm really resilient. I mean, I've been at this. I've been trying to be an e-mini day trader for over 2.5 years, and this is the hardest. I mean, I've heard Adam Grimes say like the hardest type of trader to be would be a day trader. It's easier to be a swing trader, and it's probably easier to be a day trader even if you're just trading stocks too, because e-mini is very selective amount of things you can trade. It's not there aren't very many options, um, so it's hard. But I feel like I'm really close. I have my plan. I just need to be disciplined to it. If I can be disciplined to it and not trade every day and have reasons for why I don't take my trades, which I do have, and just follow my plan, I'm really damn hopeful. I think it's going to be really good. You know, the channel is going to look really good really soon with lots of green and big green, hopefully. So, um, yeah, let's go to the last slide. So, last slide. If there's any questions, let me know what you think. If you like the presentation, please drop a like or comment. It helps the algorithm. It helps me grow. Consider subscribing. I like having people on board. I like having people to talk to in the comments. I mean, I've made changes to my trading method from some of the comments, and I really love engaging with people. So yeah, I really appreciate your support for watching. Um, so that'll end this video. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Have a good day. Peace.